Today's video is brought to you by both my Protect Trans Kids shirt because I'm fucking repping my trans kid, and Puffs with lotion because my poor sore nose from my allergies. I was using paper towels instead of tissues because that's all I could stagger to, and Jesse finally brought me these and my poor nose is feeling better but still super raw. Besides the point though. These are not actually sponsoring anything. I am talking about my quarterly favorites today. So let's just jump right into it, because even though I'm on a no spend, or I've been on a version of a no spend since July, that hasn't stopped me from using things and using up things that have been really, really awesome, whether because I expected them to be or because I didn't expect them to be. These quarterly videos, as much as I like to talk about consumerism, are a way to sort of appreciate the things we do use and consume, so that when we spend our money, we're spending it in a way that brings us fulfillment or joy or peace or whatever. I'm just gonna go in order of, I don't know, whatever order I put them down on my list in. Anyway, the first thing that I would like to talk about is the OPI Fall Wonders nail collection for this fall 2022. Now, normally, I've never been like a nail polish collection person, right? I just use whatever color is interesting to me at the time. Well, I've been getting my nails done at a salon pretty much all year. It's like a self-care thing that I'm doing for myself. It's something that I have, self-care for myself. You guys, I'm so out of it still. I just pick whatever color. I do take little painted on things and stick it on my nail to figure out if I'm gonna like it or not. Well, they came out with this fall collection. I think it was a little earlier in the summer, and I went in and I was having trouble deciding what color to pick, and somebody beside me was getting a nail repaired, and she had one of the colors from this fall collection, and I fucking loved it. When I got to the point to think about my next color, I went online and I Googled their fall collection, and I was like, holy shit. So now I am currently on my nails. I have the third color I've picked from that collection. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm probably not gonna go through all of them because I don't think some of them will be flattering on me, but I've used 3 so far, and I'll pop them up here. The first one was called Peace of Mind. Yes, puns, fucking puns. It's like a kind of a grayish lavender. Fucking loved it. So pretty. That was the one that sucked me in. The second one I had just gotten replaced, and that was the, what was it called? I Mica Be Dreaming, and that was kind of like a champagne shimmer. I really like that color. I didn't think it was as flattering on me as I thought it would be, but I still thought the color was gorgeous. And then this one I am just utterly in love with. This one is called Rust and Relaxation. It's like a kind of like an orangey red, and I fucking love it. There's probably a couple other colors I'm gonna wanna try out, but if you either go to a nail place and get your nails done, or if you go to like the stores where they sell these sorts of things and you see that collection, check it out because the colors are actually really gorgeous. The second thing on my list actually came out of my Hot Wallet Summer, and that is the CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. I have been using the Fresh soy-based cleanser for a couple years now, and I go through it pretty quickly. I don't use a ton of it, but I go through it fast enough, and it's like a $50 cleanser or something, maybe $40, $50 cleanser. I got to the point where I was like, fuck, this is a lot of money for something I am burning through, especially when I already use something, a cleansing balm, to take my makeup off. The reason I've stuck with the Fresh cleanser, despite how expensive it is that it works for me. It removes whatever makeup is left. It cleans my skin without that tight feeling because I have very finicky skin right now. It's like very oily, but also very dry. It's dehydrated in spots. The dry weather here makes it even harder, and with all the diuretics I'm on from the kidney failure, my skin just doesn't know which way to turn. And so finding a cleanser that works so well has been something that's worth the money. But I wanted to see if I could find something else. Well, I am just about done with my CeraVe cleanser. That I went online, I looked for gentle cleansers that work well on very combination skin, and this particular hydrating cleanser in the green and white bottle is working excellently for me. I'm not showing it to you because it's all gross from being in my shower for 85 years. I want to say I went through it, maybe it's a slightly larger size, and I think I went through it, it maybe took me twice as long to go through it as it did the Fresh cleanser, and it's like a third of the price. So hell yeah for inexpensive cleansers. Go me. The third thing is the Brazil. I don't actually have the empty. I just finished it and I threw it away, and I went to go grab it out of the garbage so I could show in this video. But the trash, somebody emptied the trash out, so it's not there anymore. So I mean, yay for the trash being emptied out, but boo for not having the empty. And I can't link to it because it's Trader Joe's. They carry body butters from time to time. They've had the pumpkin fucking, what? and they've had the coconut body butter, which I never really liked the smell of. It smelled a little too coconutty, and I don't mind the smell of it, but I don't like the taste of it. And sometimes when it's really smell like coconut forward, I can almost taste it, and I didn't like that. But this was the Brazil nut body butter. It was very thick. It was very moisturizing. The smell was light, but not, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just a light, non-offensive smell, like almost like it wasn't fragrance, but it came from the ingredients. And I used it on my legs all summer because I had run out of my First Aid Beauty cream, which is the cream I use in the winter when I start getting alligator skin. And I just replaced my empty body butter with a thing of the First Aid Beauty cream because we are starting to get into the drier weather. And so I wanted to be prepared for that. But that body butter worked perfectly for the summer. It was only like $4 or $5. So I'm definitely going to be picking one of those up when it's time, when I run out of my First Aid Beauty stuff after the winter is over and it's time to start picking something inexpensive to get me through the summer. In the winter, I need to spend the money. The next couple of things kind of go hand in hand. So one of the things I talked about in my no spend update video was that I did buy some things because I wasn't expecting to have them on the exceptions. It was a situation that came up that was not something that I had anticipated. The first thing we got is something Jesse really wanted, and so we decided to get it, and it is a year-long pass to all of the state parks in Colorado, as well as a supplemental pass to all of the off-leash dog parks that are within those state parks. Now, we have not gone exploring all of the other state parks that we can yet. We haven't had the chance to, but there is one park, it's maybe 10 minutes away. It's called Cherry Creek State Park, and I'll link the park itself down below if you want to take a look at it, because it's pretty cool. Massive state park and has an amazing off-leash dog area with a creek. And we have started taking Layla to there almost every weekend. We plan to go there this weekend because I've seen some pictures online, and apparently the fall leaves are out at the dog park area. So we bought that because we wanted to be able to go visit these parks, take Layla, take the kids, go exploring. And even though we've only gone to the one park so far, we have more than gotten our money's worth out of it. The other thing that I got that is also a favorite, kind of combined with this, and this is really the thing that I bought during the no spend that was would have broken my no spend, except that I felt like it was an exception that I didn't know I needed to make. And that was a pair of Teva sandals. I think it's the Teva Hurricane something. I'll link them down below. They're like those strappy sandals that you can wear like walking or in the water. Dog Park Creek is either rocky bottomed or sandy bottomed, depending on what part you're in. And it's important to be able to go and kind of like be with your dog instead of just letting them run free, for one. And for two, on hot days, it's really nice to be able to go in the creek. However, I was having a lot of trouble with balance. I don't have the best balance to begin with. And it's gotten worse as my center of gravity has gotten all weird, as my kidneys have gotten bigger. And so walking barefoot on the rocks and the sand in this creek, it was getting pretty hard for me to actually keep my balance. And the last thing Jesse needs is to have to keep an eye on my sorry ass while we're also trying to keep an eye on our dog with a bunch of other dogs. On top of that, I tried wearing my flip-flops, which was an even worse mistake, because trying to walk around in running, like moving water on sand or on rocks in flip-flops is a recipe for disaster. On top of that, I have a pretty deep scar on the bottom of one of my feet from walking in a reservoir when I was a kid and stepping on a beer bottle that went almost entirely through my foot. So besides the fact that the scar itself hurts if I step on something wrong, it also scarred me mentally in terms of worrying about what I might step on in the water. Jesse also is diabetic, type 1, and so taking care of his feet is a very high priority for us. So we decided to go and get shoes that we could wear both walking and in the water. We didn't want to bring a pair that we'd change into and then have to carry wet shoes back. We wanted something that we could wear into the water, keep walking, and just have them be okay. And these Teva sandals worked perfectly for me. And they have been like a major quality of life upgrade. They've made me feel safer. I don't have to worry about bursting a cyst from wiping out or breaking my glasses. So yeah, totally worth the price. And we also, as an anniversary gift, got from my father-in-law an inflatable kayak, and they're gonna work well for that too. So the state park, the sandals, they kind of go together. Both made the second half of the summer extremely awesome for Jess, for myself, and for Layla. Not really for the kids, they don't like getting up that early. And I guess that kind of leads me into one of my favorite things ever, and it's my car. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have had the worst past several months with my car. I got into a hit and run accident back in April. My car went to the shop, was there for a month. The weekend I got it back, I got hit again, went back to the shop for a month and a half, got it back. It started making some more noises. We took it to the shop. They were like, maybe this is because of the accident. Turns out it wasn't. It was a faulty part, so the warranty covered it. Thank God. And now I finally have it back. We're hoping that 3 times, like, what is that rule? The rule of like 3 shitty things happening at once. That's the end of it, and I can have my car back for a while because, God damn it, I'm so happy to be driving it again. I love my car so much. I had the weirdest rental for the second time my car was in the shop. It was like an old van, and it smelled like one of those hotel rooms that's non-smoking, but somebody smoked in it and didn't tell you about it. And anyway, I'm just glad to have my car back, and I wanted to mention it in this video because I'm so happy. Fingers crossed, nothing happens. I've got 2 kind of pieces of media, 2 shows I'm watching. Now, there's a whole list of shows I'm interested in coming up, but there are 2 currently that are running that I am really enjoying. Neither of them is The Rings of Power. I actually have not tried watching it yet. I just haven't been that interested. I'm not really into Lord of the Rings. It's not my thing. I like fantasy. I'm not a big fan of Lord of the Rings. I might decide to watch it later, but it's just, I only have so much bandwidth. The fact that I'm watching 2 shows right now is actually kind of unheard of for me. So normally they just sort of sit to the side until I have like the energy to watch them. That's probably what's going to happen with season 2 of Chucky. But the 2 that I'm watching right now as they're airing are House of the Dragon and The Serpent Queen. House of the Dragon is on HBO. The Serpent Queen is on Starz. We'll start with The Serpent Queen. The Serpent Queen is about Catherine de Medici, from like her origin to, you know, when she becomes known as like this queen that was, people were rumored that she used dark magic. She was friends with Nostradamus. Like, if you've watched Reign, which I actually haven't, but she's in Reign. So far, the season is just covering up to like the early years of her marriage to Henri, who is eventually Henri II of France. I'm really enjoying it. Samantha Morton is playing Catherine in like the present, like the narrating time, and then also I think the episode I just watched finally transitioned to her being the Catherine in like the time frame she's telling the story of. Whereas the first half of the season, she was played by an actress named Liv Hill, who was outstanding. Freaking Chief O'Brien, Cole Meany from the Star Trek The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine was playing Francis the First, which blows my mind, but yet somehow he was delightful. It's kind of like if you take like a show like The White Queen or The Spanish Princess, and then you add some like breaking the fourth wall and some kind of darker undertones to it. Like, it's like a sassier version of those shows, and I'm fucking here for it. If you enjoy history, historical fiction, all that, you might really enjoy this. There is sex in it, as there is in most of these shows on Starz, but it's pretty good times. It's also pretty graphic. It's not like a kid-friendly show. And I guess the same goes for House of the Dragon, which, if you don't know what that is, it's the prequel to Game of Thrones. It's telling the story of the Dance of the Dragons, which is a civil war that happened during the height of Targaryen power between 2 factions of the Targaryen family. It's loosely based on the period known as the Anarchy in English history, where Matilda was the only heir of her father, was it Henry the First? I think it was Henry the First. The only living heir he had was his daughter Matilda, so he had people swear to her as the heir, but then her cousin Stephen of Blois, I don't speak French. He came over because he also was related to Henry, and he claimed the throne as well. Big fucking civil war in English history. And the book that it's based on is called Fire and Blood. It's a history book, and so it's told in a very history style, this is what we have heard from our sources kind of a thing. So it's been interesting to watch the show, but the show is very well done. It has a lot of time jumps because they're basically telling 30 years of prologue in the first season so that they can get into the 2 years of the actual Civil War in the rest of the seasons. I am fucking loving it. I think it is great. Matt Smith is outstanding as Daemon Targaryen. Paddy Considine as the King Viserys is just fucking amazing. Steve Toussaint and Eve Best as Corlys Velaryon and Princess Rhaenys. The whole cast. The younger actors playing Princess Rhaenyra and Alicent Hightower, who are kind of the 2 sort of central characters of the show, started with younger actresses and then moved up into their older counterparts who are going to play them for the entirety of the series. Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook, and they're both just, it's very well done. It's chef kiss. Game of Thrones flavor meets fucking Shakespeare tragedy, and I am goddamn here for it. So Hell yeah. I leave my pseudo thoughts on Instagram if you're curious about it. Okay, before I get into my art and planner supplies at the end of the video, there's one food item I want to mention. It's so random. One of my favorite places to go eat is the Old Spaghetti Factory. I have never lived close to one. I've always had to drive to a different town to go to one. And I know that there's one that is relatively within driving distance here where I live in Colorado now, but I haven't been there yet. But I did find at King Soopers, the grocery store near me, they have an Old Spaghetti Factory branded mix of Mizithra cheese and Romano cheese, which is the cheese that they use on their version of kind of a macaroni and cheese. It's a brown butter pasta with this Mizithra cheese. It is my favorite thing to eat from the Old Spaghetti Factory. I love it so much. And with that cheese now, I can make the Mizithra cheese brown butter pasta, and it tastes almost exactly the same. And so it makes me very happy. And I just wanted you to know that. All right, I got 3 items, planner and art supply related, that I want to talk about to close this video out. The first and foremost is an artist cup. This is not inexpensive, but god damn it if this thing is amazing. So this artist cup is from a company called Sylvan Clay Works. I've talked about them before. They've made other ceramic items that I've purchased. And the reason this particular cup, I bought it as part of like a set of this and a palette that I really wanted. And the reason this particular cup caught my eye and has been working amazingly for me is because of this inside. Now you see this swirl, it's actually a fairly deep ridge. This cup, I don't really use it for watercolor. What I do use it for is painting with gouache, because I can use that ridge in the bottom to break it up off my brush before finishing to rinse it off. I don't really need to do that with watercolor. I work thin enough, but with the gouache, it's a little thicker, and so getting off the brush can be a little harder, and using this really helps break up any like lingering glob of paint that's on my brush. And so I love this cup. This is like my gouache cup, and it's cute, and it's got texture and everything, but that's besides the point. The best part is this ridge in the bottom. It's also got this little thing in the top where you can set a brush in it, this little like divot. I don't really use that, but they've got all sorts of cups and palettes on their site. Like I said, they're not the most inexpensive in the world, but the quality is excellent, and this thing is just fucking rad. Now, this is gonna sound like inside baseball, but I am really loving my 2022 Celebrations collection. The reason I say that is not because I did the doodles and the lettering for this. That's not why. This is a collaboration I do with Chrissy Ann Designs every year. That's not why. Because I have gotten these every single year because I help her make them. A lot of the time, like I'll use stickers from it, but I won't like really go super hardcore into it. But this year, for some reason, I am using the shit out of it. I am ordering the little add-ons to like the winter page or the summer page or whatever. I'm using the holidays in my monthly planner. I have just become enamored of this in a way that I haven't in the past, not because I don't like it, but because I either want to keep it nice as a like, you know, like, ooh, for posterity. And also because sometimes the stickers that are in here don't work with the way that I'm planning. Well, now it's working with the way that I'm planning, and I am just fucking loving this shit. So just wanted to mention that. It's not currently available, I don't think, but the add-on kits are. And when the new one is available, I'll be sure to let you know because it's gonna be cute. It always is. And then finally, the last thing I'm gonna bring up is this pen. It's the Staedtler Pigment Liner 01. This I bought as a happy accident. I needed a new, very thin fine liner. I was using the extra small Pitt Artist pen, and it ran out, like it dried up. And I didn't have anything in that size, which is odd because I have a metric shit ton of microns, I have a metric shit ton of Tombow fine liners, I have a metric shit ton of all these different fine liners, and for some reason I could not locate one that was the same tip size. And the problem was I had been working in my planner for the week with the tip size, and I didn't want to switch to something thicker and have it be really obvious halfway through the week. That was going to make my eyebrow twitch. The problem was I was in the middle of a no spend, and I couldn't justify buying another pen when I already had all of these pens, right? It seemed silly. But I had a Michaels voucher that I had gotten from like a rewards voucher, right? And it was gonna expire. So I'm like, well, I might as well use this. I'll go to the store, I'll get an extra small Pitt Artist pen and be done with it. I go to the store, they're completely out. But they had these. So I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a try. It's a voucher, whatever. I actually really like it. I don't think I would like it as a drawing pen. The ink is not super saturated. It's less black than the Pitt Artist pen. However, for writing, I actually really like it. It's almost like It's almost like a slightly light, like a dark gray rather than a black, is the way it kind of reads on the paper, and I'm kind of liking that. Now, again, it would not be a sketching pen for me, but as a writing pen, I'm just really enjoying it. It does not dry out if you leave it without the cap on, which I have been known to do recently with my kidney brain being the way it is. That's something Statler is kind of known for. And on top of that, like, the tip doesn't split even with my heavy hand. At least thus far, I haven't split the tip. I have bent it a little bit, but I haven't split it. And with some extra fine type fine liner tips with my heavy hand, I'll like just split them like a split end, and it's pretty fucking heinous. So I like this. Is this my favorite pen ever? I don't know, but it's my current favorite pen, and that's why it's in this video. Those are some of the things I've been loving this last quarter. As you can tell, they're things I used up. They're things that I was using in kind of lieu of the, as part of the no spend or whatever the case may be, and I feel really good about it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, something that you've been loving in the last few months, something that maybe you already owned and you rediscovered, something that replaced something maybe that was more expensive. Let's talk about something like that. Let me know, or just something you're loving. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, friends, peace.